Hello everyone, and welcome back to the FLUCTUS Channel. Airplanes are extremely sophisticated and technologically advanced machines. However, nothing that humans have created has yet been able to fully withstand the forces of Mother Nature, such as snow and ice during winter. Without proper consideration, ice and frost can impact the aerodynamics of the aircraft, which is a serious safety concern in cold weather. This brings us to a vital process known as aircraft de-icing. This is the process of removing snow, frost, and ice from the surface of an aircraft using special glycol-based fluids that melt the buildup. The cost of de-icing a single aircraft runs up to about $10,000. Sometimes the job needs to be done quickly, applying costly mixtures, and is mostly done by a complete team of professional icemen who understand the exact specifics of each assignment. Of course, there's much more to airport safety during the winter than just keeping the planes free of ice and buildup. The runways and taxi areas must also be cleared of snow and ice. A plane slipping on the runway during takeoff or landing could have very regrettable consequences. The process of clearing a runway is similar to how highways are cleared in winter, but much more detailed. Special melters, plows, and snowblowers remove the snow, while dispensing vehicles cover the runway with ethylene or propylene glycol-based fluids, as well as sodium acetate or potassium acetate. Some specialized agencies usually feature an army of equipment on standby during these seasons.
We have 56 pieces of equipment dedicated to the landside operations here. That ranges from trucks, skid steers, front-end loaders, and dump trucks for hauling.
What we have here is a 135 belter, 135-ton capacity an hour. Basically takes snow and turns it into water, which gets discharged into the storm drain system.
Of course, planes are far from the only vehicles that need to worry about snow. Despite weighing thousands of tons, trains can easily be derailed if snow is allowed to drift on the tracks. That's why countries known for heavy snowfall will often invest in special rail-based snow plows. These vehicles use incredibly powerful twin engines to process the snow and fling it up to 130 feet to either side of the tracks. The larger version of these machines can move up to 16,000 tons per hour. The chutes that eject the snow are also movable, which allows the operator to avoid burying nearby obstacles while also avoiding wind blowbacks. Frosting and excessive snow buildup is also a problem in the rail industry. Just not always for the reasons we might think. For instance, special de-icing trains are often employed to ensure the electrified third rails that supply power to trains remain fully operational through even the worst winter storms. As with other de-icing processes, this mostly consists of applying special glycol-based anti-freezing mixtures to the track, especially the third rail. In many cases, railways prefer to be proactive and apply the mixture before a storm. If the process is unsuccessful, lines can be left inoperable for hours at a time. But what happens when there are no rails, no runways, and no roads? What about the boats tasked with battling thick ice floes in the Arctic North? Known as icebreakers, these vessels don't have the benefits of other machines clearing a path for them. In fact, it's often their job to lead the way for other ships. To accomplish this, icebreakers have special hulls that are heavily reinforced and shaped so that they can carve through the ice with maximum efficiency. It's not unheard of for these vessels to plow through ice floes that are 3 to 4 feet thick with minimal issue. Powerful engines help the captain alter the angle of attack so that the ship accomplishes its job whether moving ahead, astern, or even sideways. There are also tugboats specially designed for operating in icy conditions. Like other tugs, these vessels have extremely powerful engines. With a bit of reinforcement in the hull, these tugs can tow and pull where other boats would flounder. Ski planes are not only used in places like Antarctica, but are also common in Alaska, Maine, Vancouver, and other parts of North America known for extreme winter conditions. Though these planes usually come in very small sizes, the U.S. Air Force defied this norm by equipping its massive LC-130 with ski landing gears. The nose ski measures 10 feet by 6 feet wide, while the main gear skis are 12 feet by 6 feet wide. Also known as the Ski Bird, this plane is the largest ski-equipped aircraft in the world. It regularly flies resupply missions to science stations in Antarctica and Greenland. Aircraft like these are an outstanding example of man's continuous endeavor to bypass natural obstacles while bringing solutions to the hardest puzzles in the field of transportation. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.